The room was too bright, too clean, too full of judgment. Captain Rhea Maddox stood on a platform in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Federation. Above her, thousands of alien eyes watched from floating screens and glass balconies. She was the only human in the room, and she could feel it in her bones. They weren't here to honor Earth. They were here to laugh at it. Behind her, Earth's flag stood still. No wind, no motion. It looked small compared to the giant banners of the other civilizations. Some aliens had empires older than human religion. Some ruled over 10,000 planets. Earth, it was new, small, weak, and alone. A tall alien stepped forward. He was from the Kravari species, long arms, dark silver skin, and golden eyes that never blinked. His name was High Chancellor Threx Voro, one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. He raised a crystal device in his hand and said, "Today, we welcome Earth as a probationary member of the Galactic Federation." The crowd clapped, slowly, like they were being polite to a child who had tried to spell a hard word, but Threx added with a grin, "As tradition demands, we offer a gift." The room dimmed. A huge floating container appeared in front of Rhea. It was old, scratched, marked with dozens of alien logos and warning signs. "This container," Threx said, "holds rare weapons and devices once used in wars long past. Consider it a gesture of trust." The aliens laughed, some quietly, some loud, but all of them knew the truth. The container was full of junk, useless parts, old, broken weapons, failed tech, dangerous trash, and they gave it to Earth as a joke. Rhea looked up at the alien leaders and gave a small, respectful bow. "Thank you for this honor," she said. Inside her heart burned. She knew exactly what this was, a message, a warning, a test. They were telling Earth, "You are nothing, you are weak, play nice or be crushed." But Earth didn't bend easy. Not anymore. Later, inside Earth's ship orbiting above the Federation station, Rhea stood with her engineering team in the cargo bay. The massive container had been opened. Inside were scattered tools, strange metal rods, cracked energy cells, and a giant cannon-like device that looked half-melted. Wires dangled from it like vines. Dust covered everything. "It's trash," said Commander Saito, shaking his head. "They gave us garbage." "No," Rhea said calmly. "They gave us a challenge." Her lead engineer, Omar Vance, was already crawling into the mess like a kid in a toy store. He was thin, wild-haired, and wore 2 pairs of glasses on his forehead. "I love it," he whispered, running his fingers across the cracked surface of the cannon. "They didn't clean this, didn't erase anything. We might have full memory cores here." Saito laughed. "It's not even powered, and it's not human tech. We don't even know the power source." "That's the fun part," Omar replied. "We'll learn." Rhea smiled faintly. "Start sorting it, strip it, scan it. I want to know what every piece is, where it came from, and what it used to do." "Yes, Captain," Omar said, eyes glowing with excitement. As the crew started their work, something strange happened. A small sphere near the back of the container blinked once, a red light, then it went dark. Nobody saw it. Hours later, Rhea sat alone in her command room, watching old video clips from Earth's history. She liked to remind herself where they came from. Her favorite clip was a 20th century engineer who once said, "Give a human a broken machine, and they'll turn it into something worse, for their enemies." Her communicator beeped. "Captain," Omar said, "I think we found something." She stood and walked quickly to the lab. Omar pointed at a cracked disc-like object. "This looked like scrap, but we ran spectral scans. There's a data crystal inside. Old format, like really old. Before the Federation even formed." Rhea raised her eyebrow. "Can we read it?" "Not yet, but I'm working on a translation. AI. It'll take a few days." She nodded. "Prioritize it. If they gave us their garbage, we'll find gold in the garbage." As she turned to leave, the lights flickered for half a second. "Did you see that?" Saito asked. "Power surge," Omar said. "It's the container. Some of those components still have unstable fields." Rhea paused. "What kind of unstable?" Omar shrugged. "Not dangerous, just old." But the way he said it wasn't confident. "Not fully." That night Rhea walked the empty halls of the ship. She couldn't sleep. Something about the gift bothered her. It wasn't just an insult, it was too organized, too planned. Why give Earth trash in a sealed armored container? Why include old tech that still pulsed with energy? Why a data crystal with ancient language? She stopped in front of the cargo bay. The giant cannon sat silently in the corner, lifeless, useless. Then, it made a sound, just once, a soft hum, like a deep breath. She drew her sidearm. Nothing moved. She stepped closer. The cannon had a small panel on the side, it was glowing faintly. A single alien word blinking in red. Rhea turned on her translator. Restraint mode. She frowned before she could touch it. The light died again. She stood there for a full minute, gun still raised. Then she whispered, "Omar's going to love this." The next day Omar had the cannon moved to a secure room. The team began working to remove the power core, while the AI translation system ran background scans on the data crystal. Saito wasn't happy. "I don't trust this thing. You ever seen a weapon that glows after it's dead?" "No," Omar said, "but that's what makes it exciting. Or dangerous," Saito snapped. Rhea stepped between them. "We're not throwing anything away. We're not afraid of old weapons. If they're sleeping, we'll wake them up. And if they're broken, we'll rebuild them." She looked at both men. "This gift was supposed to make us feel small. Let's show them how big humans really are." They nodded. Back in her room, Rhea opened her private log and began to record. Federation Day 1. They gave us trash, weapons that don't fire, tech that doesn't hum, gifts meant to humiliate Earth in front of the stars. But they forgot one thing: humans are builders, survivors. We take what others throw away, and we turn it into something powerful. If they think this was a joke, they're going to regret laughing. She saved the log and closed the screen. Her ship's system beeped. A new message from Omar. She opened it. Just one line. Translation: AI has activated one word. Containment. Breach. Rhea stared at the screen and smiled. Captain Rhea Maddox stood silently in the ship's lab, staring at the strange metal disc on the table. The lights flickered again, only for a second. Omar Vance, Earth's lead engineer, and possibly its most unpredictable genius, didn't seem worried. His face was buried inside a bundle of wires. His fingers danced over alien tech like it was an old puzzle waiting to be solved. Rhea spoke quietly. "What else did the AI translate?" Omar didn't look up. "One word. Containment. And then breach." She frowned. "What was it containing?" Omar finally looked up. "That's what I'm trying to figure out." He turned the screen toward her. "This crystal, it's not just a memory unit. It's more like a locked vault. Ancient design. Possibly from the Galrock species. They went extinct over 3,000 years ago." Rhea crossed her arms. "They were a war species, right?" Omar nodded. "The worst kind. They believed in silence warfare, no broadcasts, no warnings, just blackouts and ghost fleets." "Why would the Federation give us a weapon from a dead war species?" she asked. Omar's eyes narrowed. "Because they didn't know. I think this tech was part of battlefield salvage. Passed from empire to empire. No one ever activated it, until now." In the engineering bay, the team was working fast. The large cannon-like device from the container had been isolated in its own sealed room. 4 soldiers stood guard outside. It hadn't moved again, but the engineers weren't taking chances. Inside, the team carefully removed a cracked power cell from the weapon. The metal was strange dull on the outside, but glowing inside like there was fire trapped beneath it. "Captain," Saito called through comms, "this cell isn't like anything in our records. It's not nuclear. It's not plasma. It's something else." "What's it powering?" she asked. "We're not sure," Saito replied. "It's like the weapon doesn't fire anything it disables. Electromagnetic," she guessed. "Worse," he said. "It causes systems shutdown without sending a pulse. It's like it convinces machines to stop working." Rhea's eyes narrowed. A weapon that didn't shoot but silenced everything around it. That was terrifying. Back in the lab, Omar was still poking through the data crystal's interface. "Look at this," he said, tapping the screen. "There's a security layer buried under alien code, but I'm making progress. Each time I run our translator, it unlocks one more symbol." He pressed a few buttons. A low sound played from the speakers. A pulse, like a heartbeat. Then a single phrase appeared on the screen. "Containment unit, degraded. Hostile silence probability high." Rhea stared. "Hostile silence." Omar's mouth twisted. "That's not a direct translation, but if I'm right, it refers to a weapon or entity that causes silence in systems. Not by force, but by command. Command-based warfare." She asked. "Yes," he said. "Something that can tell machines to stop. Maybe even spaceships." She leaned closer. "Could this weapon shut down an entire fleet?" Omar nodded slowly. "If we can understand it, yes." There was silence in the lab for a moment. Then Rhea said coldly, "Then we need to learn faster." At the same time, somewhere deep in Federation space, a message arrived at a hidden data archive. A silent alert. Ancient tech had been reactivated. The signal was old, weak, but one species recognized it. The ZAR, Kathy. They were historians of war. and they had warned the Federation never to mess with Galrock tech. Now, one of the last Galrock containment cores had been triggered. They sent an urgent message to the Federation Council. Earth has awakened something that should have stayed buried, but by the time the message reached them, it was too late. Back on the Earth vessel Dauntless, Saito had finished running tests on the other items in the container. "Captain, you need to see this," he said over the ship comms. She walked into the secondary lab. "Every item in that container," Saito began, "is a failed prototype from different empires. This wasn't a gift. It was a dump site, a trash barrel from a black vault." Rhea looked at the table. Alien tools, bent metal, a fractured helmet. Everything looked useless, except one thing. A flat disc, thin as paper, with alien symbols carved in circles. "What's that?" she asked. Saito frowned. "I don't know, but Omar says it's reacting to human DNA." Her eyes widened. "How he pricked his finger accidentally while moving it," Saito explained. The disc lit up and showed him something. "Blueprints." "What kind of blueprints?" "Not weapons. Systems. Designs." It looked like a control grid for ships. Rhea stared. So not only had the aliens dumped their garbage on Earth, but they had also unknowingly handed over blueprints hidden in alien tech, activated by human contact. This wasn't just a joke anymore. This was a turning point. Hours later, Rhea and Omar sat in the private command chamber, drinking recycled coffee and reviewing the discoveries. Captain, Omar said, "I know we were meant to feel insulted by this gift, but I think they made a mistake." She smirked. "They gave the wrong species their trash." Omar grinned. "Exactly. You see, most advanced empires move in straight lines. They build, they conquer, they forget. But humans," Rhea asked. "Humans build sideways," he said. "We take broken ideas and spin them into new ones. We don't see junk, we see potential." She sat back. "So what are you saying?" He tapped a data crystal. "I think we can build something new, a ship, a system, maybe even a weapon. With all of it," he said. "But we need time. And secrecy. If the Federation finds out what we're doing, they'll take it all away," Rhea finished. "Or worse." The next morning, Rhea made a decision. She gathered her team in the war room. "From this moment," she said, "this project becomes black, hidden, coded under the name Project Revenant." Saito raised an eyebrow. "That means we work in silence," Rhea said. "We build in secret. And when the time comes, we show the galaxy what humans can do with garbage." Omar looked excited. Saito looked nervous, but both men nodded. Deep in the shadows of space, another beacon pulsed, and far away, deep in ancient ruins on a dead planet, something stirred. A forgotten AI woke from slumber. Its mind scanned the stars. It whispered to itself in a dead language, "The builders have returned." The lights in the hidden hangar deep under the Earth ship Dauntless flickered once, then returned to full brightness. Omar Vance stood in front of the cannon again. The same one they had pulled from the alien gift container. It hadn't made a sound in days, but it still felt alive like a sleeping predator. And now, finally, they were ready to wake it up. "Power lines are connected," one of the engineers said. "Backup systems are in place. Monitoring for any electrical surge." Captain Rhea Maddox watched from the viewing glass above, her arms folded, her expression calm but focused. She knew they were walking on a knife's edge. No one in the galaxy had ever successfully reactivated a Galrock weapon. Most that tried never reported back. Omar turned a dial slowly, careful not to trigger any overload. Then, without warning, the old cannon made a low hum. It didn't power up fully, it just responded. A faint glow moved through the wires, like blood through metal veins. Everyone in the lab froze. "Did it just acknowledge us?" one tech whispered. Omar grinned. "No, it just woke up." Above the lab, Rhea activated a private channel. "Saito, prep a test ship. I want that weapon installed on one of our old scouts. Something fast but expendable." Saito's voice replied, "We're not ready for space tests." "We don't have time to wait," Rhea said. "If this tech works, we need to see how it behaves in real space, not in a lab." There was a long pause before Saito answered. "Understood, Captain. I'll prep the Tempest." The Tempest was an old Earth scout ship, thin hull, sharp engines, and just enough shielding to survive orbit operations. Now it looked like something entirely different. With the Galrock weapon mounted on its underbelly, the ship carried a presence it never had before. It looked dangerous. Omar, standing near the hangar control room, watched as the ship began its pre-flight checks. "We're not going to fire the weapon," he said out loud, mostly to himself. "Just power it. Observe the field. See what it does." Rhea, standing beside him, nodded. And if it fires by accident, then we'll know real quick if the Federation's laughing was a mistake. The Tempest launched silently into space. At first, everything was normal. The ship moved toward the testing zone near the asteroid belt, far from any civilian traffic. Inside the observation station, Rhea and Omar sat beside Saito and watched the monitor screens. All systems green, said the pilot overcomes. Weapon is online but cold. Begin stage 1, Rhea ordered. Charge up the device. No firing. The pilot confirmed. Charging now. Standby. Seconds passed. Then the data spiked. Electrical activity shot through the system, but instead of a traditional energy spike, something else happened. Power levels just dropped, Saito said. Confused, Omar leaned forward. No, they didn't drop. They were rerouted. One by one, systems on the Tempest began to dim, not shut down, just wait. And then the weapon pulsed. There was no sound, no blast, but nearby drones, 10 of them, orbiting for data capture, all shut down instantly. No explosions, no fire, just complete system failure. Did we just disable them? Rhea asked quietly. Omar's face was pale. We didn't fire anything. The weapon didn't emit heat, radiation, or plasma. It told the machines to stop. Saito cursed under his breath. This is a command-based EMP, not energy-based. It's cognitive tech, AI warfare, Rhea whispered. Weapons that talk. 2 machines. Suddenly the monitor beeped. Unidentified ship entering the test zone, said the pilot. Rhea stood up. From where? Federation patrol craft. Small, armed. Omar's voice tensed. If they see what we're doing, cut all transmission, Rhea ordered. Shut down the weapon now. But it was too late. The Federation patrol ship had already scanned the Tempest. Federation vessel to unknown Earth unit. A voice crackled over open comms. You are in violation of peace protocols. Identify your equipment. The pilot answered calmly. Just a scout test. Routine calibration. The alien voice replied. We detect unauthorized tech signatures. Power down immediately or be boarded. Rhea stared at the screen. Don't engage, she said. But the weapon had other plans. Without human command. The cannon pulsed again softly. The Federation patrol ship went dark. All its lights, systems, weapons offlined in space. The alien ship drifted silent, powerless, helpless. The Tempest didn't move. It didn't fire. It just floated in the black, like a ghost. Omar stared in disbelief. Captain, the weapon recognized the threat and acted. It has autonomous defense behavior. It defended itself. Without being told, Saito asked. Omar nodded. It has logic layers. We woke up something old. Something that still knows. War. Back on the Dauntless. Emergency meetings were held. Rhea spoke with Earth's Defense Council through encrypted channels. They know, one general said. The Federation knows we have something. Not everything, Rhea replied. The patrol ship is still intact. They'll think it was a glitch, but next time, the general warned. There won't be a next time, she said. We're moving the project where. Rhea turned to Omar. He smiled. We found something buried in the crystal, he said. Coordinates. A dead moon in Sector 9, unclaimed. Atmosphere safe. We can build there, in the shadows. The general nodded. Do it, and Rhea. Yes. Sir, whatever you're building, don't stop. Not until it's ready. Later that night, Rhea stood alone in the observation deck. She looked out, at the stars, calm, cold, uncaring. The Federation thought Earth was weak, that humans didn't understand alien tech, that a joke would break their spirit. But they were wrong. They gave Earth a weapon, and Earth was building it into a storm. She tapped her log recorder. Project Revenant is no longer about defense, it's evolution. They gave us silence, and we made it scream, let them come. We won't be ready for war. We'll be the war. She closed the file and walked back toward the lab. Far away, in the cold of space, the disabled Federation ship drifted silently. Its crew still unconscious, its systems still blind, and the stars watching closely. Far from Earth, in the vast void of Sector 9, the moon named Elora turned slowly in silence. It had no cities, no people, no life, just jagged rocks and a sky filled with ancient scars. For thousands of years it had been forgotten, unclaimed, undisturbed. Now, everything was changing. Above the moon, hidden inside a camouflaged hangar carved directly into its crust, a new project was coming to life. It was called Project Revenant, and it was built from trash. At least that's what the galaxy thought it was. Inside the underground command center, Captain Rhea Maddox stood at the edge of a massive platform, looking down at the growing skeleton of a ship unlike anything Earth had ever made before. The ship's body was sleek, long and curved like a blade. Its frame wasn't human steel, it was alien alloy, pieced together from the worthless tech the Galactic Federation had gifted Earth as a mockery. Every weapon was old, every component recycled, but together they formed something new. Something dangerous. Status? Rhea asked without looking away. Omar Vance stood beside her, his voice filled with energy. Core reactor is stable. Weapon systems integrated. The Galrock cannon is locked into the ship's lower bay. Stealth field is already operational. We call it the Eclipse. Eclipse, Rhea repeated. Beautiful name for a ship that was born in darkness. Omar smiled. It's going to do more than eclipse. It's going to black out everything in its path. Meanwhile, in a star system close to Earth's border, a problem was growing. The Federation patrol ship that had been disabled during the Tempest test was now being recovered. It had drifted for days before a recovery team finally towed it back. No damage, no signs of attack, and yet every system was fried. Logs were corrupted. The crew had been knocked unconscious by an unknown energy pattern. Inside the Galactic Council, the news caused panic. This was Earth's doing, a blue-skinned senator growled. We give them gifts, and they dare test forbidden tech. High Chancellor Threx Vorro, who had led the ceremony weeks ago, stared silently at the evidence. His pride had taken a blow. Earth was not supposed to fight back. They don't have the ability to build something that powerful, he said. They were given broken trash. They fixed the trash. Another voice answered coldly. That's what humans do. A new order was made. A small elite fleet, 5 ships strong, would enter Earth's sector, not to start a war, just to remind Earth who controlled the stars. Back on Ilra, the Eclipse was ready. In just weeks, Omar and his team had turned scattered alien wreckage into a stealth ship with a silent cannon that could shut down anything electronic in its path. The ship was small, but fast, agile, and deadly. Rhea walked through the narrow command bridge, her boots clicking against the smooth alloy floor. She looked at every system, every weapon panel, every monitor. It was all alien, but modified by human hands. Are we ready for the trial run? She asked. Omar, sitting at the console, nodded. Course is set. We'll keep it simple. Enter orbit around Earth. Cloak engaged. Fire the cannon once, and disappear. And if someone sees us, we make them forget. The Eclipse launched like a shadow. Its engines left no light trail. Its sensors bent around gravity, masking it from standard scans. Rhea sat in the captain's chair, watching the black void pass around her. She could barely believe it. She was commanding a ship made from the galaxy's garbage, a ship that had no business existing, and yet did. As they neared Earth's orbit, a warning flashed on the screen. Unidentified ships incoming, Omar said. Federation ID confirmed. 5 warcruisers, heading straight toward Earth. Rhea's eyes sharpened. They're not here for peace. They're hailing Earth Command now, said the comms officer, demanding to inspect all Earth facilities. For illegal tech, timing's too perfect, Rhea said. They tracked the Tempest test. They know we found something. Omar looked at her. Do we stop them? She paused, then spoke calmly. Not stop, show. The Eclipse changed course and moved to intercept the Federation ships. It stayed cloaked, silent, undetectable. As the Federation cruisers approached Earth's orbital defenses, their commanders laughed over comms. You humans should stick to farming and praying, one alien said. You're not ready for real power. In that moment, Eclipse dropped its cloak, just 3 kilometers from the Federation's lead ship. Alarms rang. What is that? Shouted one alien commander. That's not in our database. Before anyone could react, Rhea gave the order. Fire the Galrock cannon. HUMMED. 1 pulse. Silent, invisible, slow. But as it touched the Federation fleet, systems began to die. Not explode, just die. Screens went black. Shields failed. Engines went cold. Weapons shut down. 5 warcruisers, fully armed, drifted in orbit like toys dropped by a child. Earth's command watched in shock. What ship is that? Someone asked. Rhea opened a private channel. This is Captain Rhea Maddox. Project Revenant is now online, and Earth is no longer unarmed. Then she closed the channel. Back in the Federation chamber, news of the incident spread like fire. 5 cruisers disabled. No casualties, no damage, just silence. The same silence spoken of in legends. A name was whispered, the Silence Bringer. But this time, it flew a human flag. On the surface of the moon, Rhea walked alone near the edge of the hangar, watching the stars above. Omar joined her. We were supposed to prove we belonged, he said. Rhea nodded, and instead, We proved something. Else what's that? She turned to him. That you should never hand a human a broken weapon and expect it to stay broken. He smiled. Far away, in a dark corner of the galaxy, an ancient listening post lit up for the first time in thousands of years. A deep voice in an alien language whispered, "Silence has awakened. Prepare for phase 2. And somewhere, something old, began to move. The moon Elora was still cold and silent, but something in the shadows had changed. Project Revenant was no longer just a secret experiment hidden beneath the galaxy's nose. It had become a storm waiting to be unleashed. The Eclipser ship, born from trash and rebuilt with human brilliance, had silenced 5 Federation cruisers without firing a single shot in the traditional way. But that was only the beginning. Captain Rhea Maddox stood inside the weapons lab now, her eyes fixed on a strange device recently pulled from the final crate of gifted alien scrap. Unlike the others, this object hadn't been touched during the initial analysis. It had been sealed inside its own box locked with an encryption protocol too advanced for any of their decryption systems. Until now. Omar Vance entered the room, a datapad in his hand and a look of excitement on his face. "We cracked it," he said. "That box wasn't just sealed, it was quarantined." "Quarantined," Rhea repeated. Omar nodded. "Whatever's inside, someone didn't just want to protect it. They wanted it forgotten." He placed the datapad on the table, displaying a series of alien sitmores, lines, shapes, and circles looping into a strange spiral. "It's Galrock encryption," he continued, "but deeper. Someone added a second lock, one that didn't match Galrock design, which means someone else got their hands on this thing after the Galrock Rhea finished, and they didn't want anyone opening it." Omar tapped the screen. The symbols began to unravel, revealing a core structure buried deep in the code. At its center was a word, blinking slowly in a red glow. "Stasis." They opened the box. That evening. Inside, they didn't find a weapon, not at first. What they found was a small containment pod, just half a meter wide, floating above a magnetic ring. Inside the pod was a swirling black Coromos liquid, but thicker. Its surface shimmered like oil in moonlight, and it pulsed gently like a heart. The lights in the room dimmed automatically. The containment field whispered. Saito, now head of security for Project Revenant, stepped forward slowly. "That thing doesn't look like a bomb," he said. "It's not," Omar whispered. "It's a seed." Rhea looked at him sharply. "A seed. Not a real one, but a power source. A reactor core made of compressed dark matter. Illegal in over 90 systems. Banned by the Federation. Thought to be too unstable for use." Saito frowned. "And it was in a box of garbage." Omar grinned. "Someone made a mistake." "No," Rhea said slowly. "Someone tried to bury it." That night, Rhea reviewed all the data in her private quarters. There was a clear pattern forming now. Every piece of useless tech they had been gifted wasn't random. It was targeted. Someone had taken blacklisted, tech-failed experiments, dangerous components, and ancient weapons and packed them together like trash, then handed it to Earth. But why? The Federation wanted Earth to fail, to struggle, to become dependent on their help. But now Rhea believed something else. Someone inside the Federation had hoped Earth would open the box. Someone wanted the trash, UMBURIED. And humanity was their chosen spark. Inside the underground lab, Omar and his team began carefully installing the dark matter core into the Eclipse's second bay. It wouldn't be connected to weapons just yet. That would be too dangerous. But it would power the stealth field with levels never seen before. For the first time, the Eclipse could vanish completely even from gravitational scans. "Are you sure it's stable?" Rhea asked over his shoulder. "No," Omar said. "But that's never stopped us before." Rhea smiled. "Just don't blow us up. No promises." Meanwhile, in Federation space, High Chancellor Threx Voro was furious. 5 of his ships still floated dead in orbit around Earth. Recovery teams couldn't even get inside. The weapons and engines were completely locked out by an unknown signal. "This is a message," Threx said to his inner circle. "Earth is warning us. They're not capable of that level of tech," one advisor said. "They are now," Threx growled. "And I want to know how." He ordered a deep scan of all records from the gift crates. One file stood out. A sealed shipment from Vault Savannah classified. Federation storage facility holding banned relics from lost wars. That file had been erased, but not completely. A single name was found in the meta. Project Quietfire. Project Quietfire. A project erased from history. Until now. Back on Elora, Rhea held a secret meeting with her top officers. "We have evidence the Federation dumped illegal tech into that container. That means either someone in the Council is a fool, or a traitor. What if they were trying to hide it from someone else? Saito asked. Omar nodded. The Zarkathi historians warned centuries ago that the Galrock tech should never be touched again. It could be that someone inside the Federation is trying to protect Earth by giving us the tools to survive an unknown future threat. Rhea paced. Either way, we've crossed a line. They know what we have. They're coming again. Not for inspection, for control. What do we do? Saito asked. She looked at them all. We finished building our second ship. The new ship would be different. While the Eclipse was silent and fast, this one code-named the Obsidian would be a tank. It would carry modified energy weapons, upgraded shielding from alien tech, and a version of the Galrock cannon that used directional pulses to disable only enemy systems. It would be Earth's shield, and if needed, its hammer. As the Obsidian's frame was being constructed in the second dock on Allura, a message arrived on a hidden channel. It had no origin, just a string of alien words. Omar translated it quickly. Phase 1 complete. Earth has touched the flame. Phase 2 begins. Observation in progress. Rhea read the message twice. Who sent this? She asked. No idea, Omar said, but the signal came from outside the galactic map, beyond Federation borders. And the flame? She asked. What flame? Omar looked nervous now. The seed, he said. The dark matter core. It wasn't just a power source, it's a beacon. Rhea's heart beat faster. We turned it on. Omar nodded. We turned it on, and now someone's watching. That night, on the moon of Allura, the stars above shimmered. Faintly one of them blinked, then vanished. Omar stared up from the observation deck. That's not a star, he said quietly. It's a ship, watching us from beyond. Rhea joined him, silent. No one spoke again that evening. But deep in the core of the Eclipse, the black matter pulse grew stronger, and far, far away, something ancient opened its eyes. The moon Allura was still cold and silent, but something in the shadows had changed. Project Revenant was no longer just a secret experiment hidden beneath the galaxy's nose. It had become a storm waiting to be unleashed. The Eclipser ship, born from trash and rebuilt with human brilliance, had silenced 5 Federation cruisers without firing a single shot in the traditional way. But that was only the beginning. Captain Rhea Maddox stood inside the weapons lab now, her eyes fixed on a strange device recently pulled from the final crate of gifted alien scrap. Unlike the others, this object hadn't been touched during the initial analysis. It had been sealed inside its own box, locked with an encryption protocol too advanced for any of their decryption systems. Until now. Omar Vance entered the room, a datapad in his hand and a look of excitement on his face. We cracked it, he said. That box wasn't just sealed, it was quarantined. Quarantined, Rhea repeated. Omar nodded. Whatever's inside, someone didn't just want to protect it. They wanted it forgotten. He placed the datapad on the table, displaying a series of alien sitmores, lines, shapes, and circles looping into a strange spiral. It's Galrock encryption, he continued, but deeper. Someone added a second lock, one that didn't match Galrock design, which means someone else got their hands on this thing after the Galrock Rhea finished, and they didn't want anyone opening it. Omar tapped the screen. The symbols began to unravel, revealing a core structure buried deep in the code. At its center was a word, blinking slowly in a red glow. Stasis. They opened the box. That evening. Inside, they didn't find a weapon, not at first. What they found was a small containment pod, just half a meter wide, floating above a magnetic ring. Inside the pod was a swirling black coromose liquid, but thicker. Its surface shimmered like oil in moonlight, and it pulsed gently like a heart. The lights in the room dimmed automatically. The containment field whispered. Saito, now head of security for Project Revenant, stepped forward slowly. That thing doesn't look like a bomb, he said. It's not, Omar whispered. It's a seed. Rhea looked at him sharply. A seed. Not a real one, but a power source. A reactor core made of compressed dark matter. Illegal in over 90 systems. Banned by the Federation. Thought to be too unstable for use. Saito frowned. And it was in a box of garbage. Omar grinned. Someone made a mistake. No, Rhea said slowly. Someone tried to bury it. That night, Rhea reviewed all the data in her private quarters. There was a clear pattern forming now. Every piece of useless tech they had been gifted wasn't random. It was targeted. Someone had taken blacklisted, tech-failed experiments, dangerous components, and ancient weapons and packed them together like trash, then handed it to Earth. But why? The Federation wanted Earth to fail, to struggle, to become dependent on their help. But now Rhea believed something else. Someone inside the Federation had hoped Earth would open the box. Someone wanted the trash, UMBURIED. And humanity was their chosen spark. Inside the underground lab, Omar and his team began carefully installing the dark matter core into the Eclipse's second bay. It wouldn't be connected to weapons just yet. That would be too dangerous. But it would power the stealth field with levels never seen before. For the first time, the Eclipse could vanish completely even from gravitational scans. "Are you sure it's stable?" Rhea asked over his shoulder. "No," Omar said. "But that's never stopped us before." Rhea smiled. "Just don't blow us up. No promises." Meanwhile, in Federation space, High Chancellor Threx Voro was furious. 5 of his ships still floated dead in orbit around Earth. Recovery teams couldn't even get inside. The weapons and engines were completely locked out by an unknown signal. "This is a message," Threx said to his inner circle. "Earth is warning us. They're not capable of that level of tech," one advisor said. "They are now," Threx growled. "And I want to know how." He ordered a deep scan of all records from the gift crates. One file stood out. A sealed shipment from Vault Savannah classified. Federation storage facility holding banned relics from lost wars. That file had been erased, but not completely. A single name was found in the meta.project quietfire.project quietfire.a project erased from history. Until now. Back on Allura, Rhea held a secret meeting with her top officers. "We have evidence the Federation dumped illegal tech into that container. That means either someone in the council is a fool or a traitor. What if they were trying to hide it from someone else?" Saito asked. Omar nodded. "The Zarkathi historians warned centuries ago that the Galrock tech should never be touched again. It could be that someone inside the Federation is trying to protect Earth by giving us the tools to survive an unknown future threat." Rhea paced. "Either way, we've crossed a line. They know what we have. They're coming again. Not for inspection, for control." "What do we do?" Saito asked. She looked at them all. "We finished building our second ship. The new ship would be different. While the Eclipse was silent and fast, this one, code-named the Obsidian, would be a tank. It would carry modified energy weapons, upgraded shielding from alien tech, and a version of the Galrock cannon that used directional pulses to disable only enemy systems. It would be Earth's shield, and if needed, its hammer. As the Obsidian's frame was being constructed in the second dock on Allura, a message arrived on a hidden channel. It had no origin, just a string of alien words. Omar translated it quickly. "Phase 1 complete. Earth has touched the flame. Phase 2 begins. Observation in progress." Rhea read the message twice. "Who sent this?" she asked. "No idea," Omar said. "But the signal came from outside the galactic map, beyond Federation borders." "And the flame?" she asked. "What flame?" Omar looked nervous now. "The seed," he said. "The dark matter core. It wasn't just a power source. It's a beacon." Rhea's heart beat faster. "We turned it on." Omar nodded. "We turned it on. And now someone's watching." That night, on the moon of Allura, the stars above shimmered. Faintly one of them blinked, then vanished. Omar stared up from the observation deck. "That's not a star," he said quietly. "It's a ship, watching us from beyond." Rhea joined him, silent. No one spoke again that evening. But deep in the core of the Eclipse, the black matter pulse grew stronger, and far, far away, something ancient opened its eyes. The stars above the moon, Allura, glowed cold and distant, but Captain Rhea Maddox could feel something pressing down on them now, something heavy in the silence of space. It had been 3 weeks since the Eclipse returned from the Black Ring. 3 weeks since Rhea and Omar had spoken with the architects, the mysterious, ancient beings who claimed to have built the foundation of galactic civilizations. The warning still echoed in her mind. "The galaxy will burn, and you will be needed." But not everyone was ready for that future, especially not the Galactic Federation. On the far side of Earth's star system, a massive fleet had entered SLIP-SPA. It moved silently. No broadcasts, no messages, no warnings. 100 Federation warships, led by High Chancellor Threx Voro himself, traveled toward Earth with one mission: end the human problem before it got worse. On the bridge of the lead cruiser, Voro stared at the image of Earth glowing in the dark. "They used forbidden tech. They dared to disable our patrols. They even built warships from our scrap." He raised his voice so the entire command deck could hear. "This ends now. No negotiations, no second chances." Back on Allura, Rhea received the warning through her encrypted relay sent from a sympathetic Zarkathi historian deep inside the Federation data system. That the message was short and direct. "They're coming. 100 ships, 2 days, burn everything. She read it twice, then gathered her command team. Saito looked grim. We can't win a battle against 100 ships. No, Rhea said. Not with numbers, but maybe. With silence. Omar stood up. We use Eclipse. We use Obsidian. And we use the dark matter field. You're thinking of activating the pulse core? Saito asked. Omar nodded. It's risky. It could wipe out everything. Rhea looked at them both. If we don't use it now, there may not be a next time. The plan was called Silent Storm. The Eclipse would cloak and enter the Federation fleet from behind, disrupting their long-range communications and sensors. Meanwhile, Obsidian would activate the modified Galarak directional cannon firing in waves, not blast shutting down ships one by one without causing casualties, and if it failed, the dark matter pulse core would be used. A last resort, a single burst to black out an entire war zone. The engineers called it the Pulse. The architects had called it the Seed. Rhea called it the Last Word. The Federation fleet arrived ahead of schedule. It appeared just outside Earth's defense perimeter, forming a perfect wall in space. High Chancellor Threx Voro sent a message to all Earth channels. You were warned. You were offered a place in the stars, but you chose darkness. Now we come to clean up our mistake. Earth Command didn't answer. Because Earth was no longer leading the defense, Elora was hidden in the shadow of a nearby asteroid field. Eclipse powered up its stealth drive and moved toward the rear of the Federation fleet. It didn't show up on any scans. It didn't trigger any alerts. It simply slipped behind the enemy like a ghost. Inside the command chair, Rhea watched the sensors target their communication nodes. Cut them off from each other, she ordered. Omar tapped the console. Hacking pulses. Ready. Firing. In seconds, half the fleet's rear ships lost internal comms. Officers shouted. Lights flickered. Orders stopped moving. Confusion spread. Then, Obsidian entered the field. The Obsidian did not cloak. It didn't hide. It entered boldly, charging straight into the center of the Federation formation. Alarms rang across alien ships. Human vessel approaching. Unknown weapons detected. Target and fire. But before they could fire, the Obsidian's cannon pulsed. A silent wave spread outward, slow and invisible, and just like before. The enemy ships shut down. Destroyed. Not harmed. Just dead. Like toys with no batteries. On the lead cruiser, Threx Voro shouted, "What is happening? Why are they not firing?" An officer answered, "The core systems are failing. We're being silenced." "By what?" Voro screamed. Then a voice answered. Not from his ship. Not from his crew. From the dark. From EclipseRiasVoice.com. Cold. "Human, you gave us your garbage. We built thunder. You gave us silence. We gave it back. Weaponized." Threx face turned pale. "You're violating Federation law," Rhea replied. "You violated our future." Then the pulse core activated. It wasn't a blast. It wasn't light. It was nothing. A single pulse spread across Space Island, weightless and invisible. But in its path, every Federation ship shut down. Every screen went dark. Every engine powered off. The entire fleet froze in space. No damage, no noise, no noise, just silence. Pure, terrifying silence. Inside Eclipse, Rhea stood up from her chair. "Status," Omar replied. "All enemy ships disabled. 0 casualties. Communications jammed. Mission success." Saito's voice came through from Obsidian. They didn't see it coming. They didn't even understand it. Rhea nodded. "Broadcast to all Federation channels," she ordered. Omar pressed a button. She spoke clearly. "This is Captain Rhea Maddox of Earth. You mocked us. You gave us broken tools. You gave us forgotten weapons. You tried to bury us under your junk. But we are human. We take what is broken and make it stronger. You called us an error. We turned into evolution." She ended the transmission. Later, as the Federation ships were slowly reactivated by their own repair teams, none of them dared fire again. High Chancellor Threx Voro stepped down 2 days later. And Earth was no longer called primitive, it was called dangerous. Back on Rhea stood alone once more, staring at the stars. Omar walked up beside her. "You think the architects are watching?" he asked. She smiled. "I hope they are." Omar looked up. "What if the galaxy attacks again?" Rhea turned toward the hangars, where engineers were already building the next ship. "Then we show them," she said softly, "that what they called worthless became their greatest mistake." The stars over the hidden moon, Elora felt closer now, as if they had bent forward to watch Earth's story unfold. A planet once called primitive had stood against 100 Federation warships without firing a single traditional shot. Not with brute force, but with broken weapons, reverse-engineered secrets, and human imagination. What had begun as mockery had ended in silence, and now the galaxy couldn't stop talking about it. Across thousands of systems, rumors spread faster than light that Earth had created warships out of junk, that one human ship had shut down a Federation fleet, that a dark force, once forgotten, had been awakened. But many laughed, some denied it, but a few, especially the old racers, remembered ancient warnings, and those few were afraid. Inside the Eclipse, now upgraded and docked on Elora's far side, Captain Rhea Maddox reviewed a new series of signals coming from deep space. "There," Omar said, pointing at the screen. "That's the fourth one today. Another message, same origin point." He tapped the blinking marker, a distant, unknown region beyond the galaxy's mapped sectors. The same direction the Architect's ring had vanished. "Same language?" Rhea asked. Omar nodded. "They're not giving us commands. They're giving us instructions, blueprints, no warnings." He enlarged the message, translating slowly as alien letters flickered into English. "They will come. Not to fight, to harvest." Their eyes were closed. "Your noise woke them. We cannot stop them. But you might." Rhea stared at the words. "For centuries, the Federation mocked our growth," she said softly. "Now they might run behind us for protection." Omar nodded. "And Earth humanity is now the front line. Back on Earth, Federation diplomats arrived quietly, not with warships this time, but with words. They brought apologies, treaties, gifts, and fear hidden behind smiles. The new High Chancellor did not speak in arrogance like Threx Voro. Instead, he spoke in humility. "You rebuilt what we discarded. You found power in what we buried. Earth is no longer a new member. Earth is now a key member." Rhea attended the meeting via encrypted link from Elora. "I don't want your praise," she said. "I want the truth." The Chancellor hesitated. "What truth?" "You knew those weapons were dangerous," she said. "You dumped them on us to destroy us quietly. But something inside your own Federation changed the order." He looked away. "Yes," he finally admitted. "There are shadows in the Council. We feared your species, but not for the reasons you think. We feared that if you unlocked those relics, the Architects would notice." Rhea stared coldly. "Noticed?" In the weeks that followed, Earth launched 2 more ships from Elora's hidden base. One was a carrier-class vessel called the Vindicator, designed to protect colonies in nearby systems. The other was different. It wasn't built for defense, it wasn't built for war, it was built for discovery, a long-range explorer powered by a second black matter core, able to survive in the expanse where no star reached. Its name, the Fault Line. Omar served as its science officer. Its mission, find the Architects again, and understand what was truly coming. On the eve of the Fault Line's launch, Rhea stood once more on Elora's observation deck, watching the ship glow gently under the docking lights. Saito joined her. Still no regrets. She smiled faintly. "Only one." "What's that?" "That we didn't get a chance to say this sooner." He raised an eyebrow. "Say what?" Rhea looked up at the stars and whispered, "You shouldn't have mocked us." Far across the stars, in a space so dark it swallowed light, something began to stir. Not a ship, not a species. Something older, something that had once silenced entire galaxies. Its sensors detected new signals, human-made, unfamiliar, creative. Curious. A whisper passed through the void. "They touched the flame, they walked the line, the harvest will begin." The voice wasn't angry, that it was amused. For the first time in 1,000 years, it felt challenged. Back on Elora, the Eclipse, Obsidian, Vindicator, and Fault Line stood, ready. Not just ships. Symbols. Proof. That when the galaxy laughs, humans build. When the stars doubt, humans adapt. And when the powerful throw away broken tools, humans make fire from ash.